Some people think mania is just happiness on steroids. They picture someone dancing on tables or painting masterpieces all night. But for many, mania and hypomania feel like their skin is on fire. It's irritability, it's rage, it's pacing at 3 a.m., saying things you regret, and feeling like everyone around you is moving too slow. Most people think mania means being really happy. They picture someone that is euphoric and dancing on tables, maybe building things, starting different projects, getting a lot of things accomplished, or just being super creative. But for a lot of people, mania and hypomania feel nothing like that. They're not just up. They're agitated, irritated, and mean as hell sometimes. So today I want to talk about what's really happening in the brain when mania and hypomania hit. So hypomania often gets painted as like the fun version of mania. More energetic, more confidence, still less sleep, but more creativity, more productivity. And sure, sometimes it starts out that way, but pretty quickly it shifts into this revved up, edgy state. Your thoughts are racing, you're talking fast, you're jumping from idea to idea. And the second someone interrupts you, you snap. It's like drinking 6 Red Bulls and then sitting in traffic. You're buzzing, but everything around you feels too slow. That irritation builds and builds until it's not fun anymore at all. Now, mania takes that same restlessness and cranks it up to 12. The agitation doesn't just stay inside anymore. It comes out. You're pacing at 3 in the morning. You're yelling at people you love and people you don't even know. You're making risky decisions. You might feel powerful, but it's unstable. And once psychosis or paranoia slide into the mix, it's not just agitation anymore. It can turn terrifying. Mania is not a joyful state. It's more like a combustible one. And when I say that mania is an edgy state, I mean that people end up going to jail, blowing their life savings on Candy Crush, gambling their life savings away at the casino, or end up severing ties with people that they've loved for years. But even beyond all that, the consequences of full-blown mania can be very severe. Think about mania and hypomania like a roller coaster car. At first, you're climbing the track. The energy builds. You feel sharper. You're moving faster. That's the part people think is fun. And that's what some people are drawn to. And it can be very motivating, and you can get a lot done when you're manic or hypomanic. But here's the thing. The car doesn't stop at the top. It keeps climbing past that sweet spot, past confidence, past productivity, past creativity, and past happy. And eventually, it has to tip somewhere. And not into more joy, unfortunately, but into deeper agitation, rage, paranoia, and impulsivity, and sometimes psychosis. But when that hypermanic state can't sustain anymore, when your brain has been burning too hot for too long, the car comes crashing down into depression. It's not a ride anyone signed up for now, and it's not fun while it's happening. It can be terrifying. It's always exhausting, and it leaves wreckage in its path. It's also very bad for your brain. If you've never been around mania or hypomania, it's really easy to misunderstand it. From the outside, it can look like someone is just being difficult, angry, or even abusive. Some people self-medicate. Or if you've only ever seen the media version, you might think it's glamorous. Someone staying up all night and painting and writing, inspired, laughing, living their best life, motivated. But what people don't see is the reality, which is the person pacing, the skin crawling, everybody agitating them, the sudden snapping, the being on edge, people having to feel like they have to walk on eggshells around you. You might snap at partners or friends when they interrupt, and the risky choices that don't feel like choices in the moment, but just what your brain is doing at that time. And if you've never lived it, those behaviors can look like bad personality traits instead of symptoms of a dysregulated brain. And that misunderstanding is what fuels stigma. People think they're just mean or they're reckless on purpose. In reality, it's the brain spiraling out of balance. So why does this even happen? If we look at the brain and the chemicals in the brain, dopamine starts to surge. It starts to raise. And reward and motivation circuits are overstimulated. That can feel like confidence at first, but too much dopamine makes you impatient and on edge and irritable. And then the glutamate floods the system next, and this excitatory neurotransmitter revs everything up, which is why mania feels restless. Another reason it feels restless, like you can't sit still. Meanwhile, GABA and serotonin, the brain's brake system, aren't strong enough to slow things down. On top of all that, the prefrontal cortex, your rational decision maker, starts to go MIA. The amygdala and the limbic system, which are the fight or flight center like we've talked about, are in overdrive. That's why little frustrations feel huge and why people can swing into rage so quickly. And then there's sleep, or the lack thereof. Mania wrecks your circadian rhythm. When your brain hasn't slept in days, agitation isn't just possible, it's almost inevitable. So why do people still believe mania is all fun and games? Mostly because of pop culture. Movies and TV love to show the quirky, energetic, creative side of mania and make jokes about it, but not the crash, the rage, the crippling depression, or the consequences after. And honestly, people in early hypomania sometimes do feel great for a moment in time. They do start projects, they talk faster, they're charming to those around them. But when you follow it through to the end, the story almost always turns dark. Mania isn't joy. Hypomania isn't harmless. And hypomania isn't mania light. These are dysregulated brain states that can destroy relationships, careers, finances, reputations, and health. If you've ever been through mania or hypomania, you know it's not about being fun. It's about surviving a brain on fire, and that deserves compassion and treatment, not the stereotypes that we've given it.